Hi, everybody. Welcome to Content Lab. This month, we are talking about sharing LinkedIn newsletters. Can you hear the excitement in my voice? This month, this is going to meet you where you're at. So if you've already started to publish LinkedIn newsletters, don't worry, you're going to learn a lot of new things. If you haven't published a LinkedIn newsletter, you're definitely going to learn some new things. Today, I'm going to be walking you through how to set up your LinkedIn newsletters. Now, as of now, there has been a couple of activities in Content Lab, and those activities were about what are the pain points of your ideal clients? What are the pain points of your future clients? The next activity was, okay, now that you've listed the pain point, if you were going to write something about it, well, then what would you title it? Now, one pain point, by the way, can be shared out in different ways, multiple times. So if you want, you can even like push the limits and create a couple of titles per idea. So today we are going to talk about how to set up your LinkedIn newsletter. Why is this so important? Because LinkedIn newsletters, when you publish your first LinkedIn newsletter, all of your connections get a notification. If you're connected to 200 people, if you're connected to 1,001 individuals, if you're connected to 10,015 people, when you publish that very first LinkedIn newsletter, they are all going to get a notification that you have published your first notification. You published your first LinkedIn newsletter. Just think about all the people that you are actually connected to on LinkedIn, and you've forgotten that you're connected with them. They've forgotten that they're connected to you. Another thing is that every time when you publish a LinkedIn newsletter after that, that will stay at the top of the notifications a little bit longer than your basic post. So LinkedIn newsletters, they really help you win with the algorithm. Another thing is that you can add search engine optimization. Basically, this is where you are adding some keywords and you're talking about some pain points that your ideal clients would be searching on Google, on Bing, on a Yahoo search engine, for instance. And when you add that information on the back end of your LinkedIn newsletter, when somebody is searching for an answer for their pain point on those search engines, because LinkedIn is a trusted source, your LinkedIn newsletter could end up on the search engine, which means that somebody could end up coming back to your LinkedIn account, or you can share some information at the bottom of your LinkedIn newsletter that you published that date that leads to your website. So somebody can just go right through and then book a call. So that is a win-win-win. So let's talk about how to start your LinkedIn newsletter. We are only talking about how to start your LinkedIn newsletter. Um, you want to start it first before you actually start writing. So let's get to it. Now, when you are starting your LinkedIn newsletter, you want to go to the home page. By the way, if you are on your mobile phone, you cannot create a LinkedIn newsletter. So I'm talking that if you're on your desktop, a laptop, that's where you're going to go to your home page. You're going to get that notification here, or you're going to see where you can start a post. Video, photo, we don't want to do any of that. We want to go to write article. Now, where you go to write article, that's where we are going to create our LinkedIn newsletter. Now, on LinkedIn, you can write an article or you can write a newsletter in this area. I used to write many articles. However, with a LinkedIn article, it doesn't help me to win with the algorithm by notifying everybody that I've published. Another thing with LinkedIn newsletters is that when somebody sends you a connection request, while they are waiting for you to accept, LinkedIn will send them a notification which will ask them if they want to subscribe to your LinkedIn newsletter. You might decide not to accept their request, and they might have already started to subscribe to your LinkedIn newsletter. Win, win, win. You might send a connection request to somebody, and then when they accept your connection request, or when they accept, then LinkedIn will send them a notification that you got a newsletter. Would they like to subscribe to it? Why is that great? Well, you've got now a warm audience, and that is another way that you can win with your LinkedIn newsletter. You won't get that with LinkedIn articles. Now let's go into setting things up. So we are on this page here, and we're not going to go here where we're going to be uploading pictures. We're going into the setup. So on the right-hand side, tap on Manage, and then tap on Newsletter. No, don't tap on Newsletter. Tap on Create Newsletter. Right now it says Newsletter because I've already been publishing LinkedIn newsletters, but you don't want to tap on that. If it's going to show you that and you don't have a newsletter, you're going to bypass that. Then you're going to tap on Create Newsletter. And this is where you are going to be putting in the themes and putting in the title of your newsletter. When I say title of your newsletter, I don't mean what is the title of the subject. I mean like what is the title of your newsletter. So think of titles like Hello Magazine. It's a publication called Hello Magazine, but you'll see many articles within. Think the Toronto Star. It is a publication, or the National Post. That's the name of the publication. So what is the newsletter title? What is aligned with your brand? And also, it's going to kind of let people know what your newsletter is about, and also kind of pique everybody's interest to say, I think I'd like to follow through. So mine, by the way, is called Digital Coffee with Dee. So this is where you would put in your title. I already have one, but I'm just using this as an example. So Digital Coffee with Dee. Now, I know I focus mainly on LinkedIn, but if you know me by now, I'm not an eggs all in one basket. I think LinkedIn is like tops for social media platforms. However, I'm a believer to bring people to my website. I'm a believer to do YouTube videos because that's very powerful for SEO. So I have my title being Digital Copy with Dee, where I'm mainly going to talk about LinkedIn, but I'm also going to share some insight about other things having to do with digital marketing. How often do you want to publish? You can pick daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. For myself, I chose bi-weekly. Why did I do that? Because that's within my bandwidth. That's the amount of time that I can afford to do. And by the way, I have skipped sometimes, not very often. I'm pretty good at keeping up with it. No one's going to really notice anyway, so don't worry about that. So think about your bandwidth. Think about if you're going to choose daily. If you're going to choose daily, then everybody's going to get this long piece of long form content for you. Do you have the time to do it? Are they always going to want to read it? And also, I think on LinkedIn, and by the way, there was a new study put out by LinkedIn that if you are sharing like more than one piece of content daily on LinkedIn, you're actually losing out. So if you're going to share a LinkedIn newsletter daily, then what is going to happen is that that's going to take away from the fact that you might want to share a carousel or a video. So can you do it weekly? Can you do it bi-weekly? Can you do it monthly? Next thing you know is what is the description of your LinkedIn newsletter? So this is where you're going to put something clever, but not so clever that people are like, I don't understand what this is all about. So by the way, let me check how often I want to publish weekly. And then here is the topic. I'm just going to choose one of these, but you will be able to type something in on your own. So I'm going to choose one here, the Diary of Business Strategy for Women Entrepreneurs, da 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 da. So whenever somebody gets that notification from LinkedIn for them to subscribe to your newsletter, they're going to know the title of your newsletter. They're also going to know what the description is all about. Then uploading your image. You can upload your logo or you can upload an image of yourself. Here's a fun fact. When you have an image of yourself, more people are more prone to subscribe because it creates some trust. So there you go. Then you have set up your LinkedIn newsletter, and at the end, you're going to click done. But let's just go through these things really quick. Your connections and followers will be invited to subscribe. I've already mentioned that. You will be subscribed to your newsletter, so you will be the #1 subscriber. Your newsletter will be featured on your profile. So in your featured section, it will show your newsletter. And if you want, you can boot that out, or you can continue to leave it there as well. So once all of that is created, you're going to hit done. I'm not going to hit done because I don't want that when somebody sends me a connection request, they're going to get a notification to join this newsletter here. So that is it. That is how you start your LinkedIn newsletter. So even though you have not written an actual article to put within your newsletter, as you continue to send out those connection requests, or as more individuals continue to send you a connection request, they are going to be able to start subscribing to your newsletter before you've even published anything. What questions do you have for me? Feel free to put it into the comments in the group, and I cannot wait to get started on helping you to build your LinkedIn newsletter. Thank you, everybody. Have yourself a great day.